Okay, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. This is episode 61. Shout out to our sponsors. First off, we have Defend Hawaii. If you go on their website, defendhawaii.com, pick out what you want, whatever apparel, hats, clothing. Go to defendhawaii.com. Upon checkout, use promo code ATBPOD and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Next up, we have iRep Detail Supply. If you go on their website, they have a bunch of waxes, soaps, whatever you need to detail your car. Go to irepdetailsupply.com. Same thing, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, and you'll receive 15% off your entire purchase order. Last, we have Hawaii Candy Factory. If you go on their website, hawaiicandyfactory.com, they have a bunch of local treats and snacks, lihimui gushers, gummies, whatever. Check them out. hawaiicandyfactory.com, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, and you'll receive 10% off your entire purchase order. Okay, so this week, my guest, MMA fighter, used to train in Hawaii for a little bit. He made national news last week. We'll have him talk about that, but he's a professional MMA fighter, Blake Perry. What's up, man?
Hey, man, happy to be here. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you for coming on. I just realized last night that you fought as an amateur in one of our local shows, and we usually do the production and lighting for Destiny MMA.
Oh, okay.
And we also do the sound. So I'm thinking either myself or DJ Hoppa Boy played your entrance song to the cage.
Oh, that's funny, man. Small world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fought for Destiny once at the Blaisdell in I think 2020. I think it was like right before the pandemic hit.
Yep. So that was us at the DJ booth playing all your music, all the walkout songs and stuff.
Nice. There we go.
What is your walkout song of choice, or do you change it up every fight?
Dude, I change it up every fight, man. Just kind of switch it up. I think kind of just whatever I'm feeling. Like usually I'll decide like fight week, whatever I have going through my headphones a lot. It's just kind of, making me feel some type of way, getting me all juiced up. Whether it's I walk out to some kind of a variety, I'll walk out to some goofy stuff sometimes. It's just real, some like groovy dance stuff that I like, and all the way to I like all kinds of hip hop and rock, and it just kind of depends, man. This last one I walked out to some Beastie Boys.
Oh, okay. Maybe not use that one then next time.
Yeah, right. No fun.
Yeah. I know like fighters sometimes are superstitious. I know I was when I used to compete, and I would my walkout song was always from the movie Lost Boys, the theme song Cry Little Sister. It has that cool vibe and vampire style. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a good one.
To this day, it gives me goosebumps if I ever hear it.
Hey, there you go. I was actually just at where they filmed the Lost Boys in like Santa Cruz. Yeah. They had like all the movie posters up and stuff, and like right where they filmed it.
Oh, that's super cool. That's my favorite movie since I was little.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you're an MMA fighter professionally. How did you get into fighting?
So I grew up my whole life wrestling pretty much. I grew up in Ohio, and wrestling's pretty popular out there. So I wrestled up from like junior high up through college, and then just kind of it seemed like a sensible transition to fighting, and it just kind of made sense, and I'm happy I did it. But I had a foundation in wrestling, so that was kind of what sparked my interest as a young kid.
I've been noticing a lot of wrestlers nowadays. They've been kind of having a lot of success in MMA. I guess that's a good baseline staple to build on, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I think from a few different standpoints, there's the obvious, like, obviously tactically wrestling is huge in MMA, but I think the mindset of just doing any type of combat sports as a young kid. It just kind of like, it builds your mind to be able to get through tough scenarios and stuff. And fighting aside, I think wrestling definitely made me who I am just in general, like work ethic and just, problem solving, honestly. So,
Yeah, especially on the fly. Wrestling is yeah, it's a sport that requires a lot of discipline, and I guess it helps with the weight cut. You learn how to cut weight at an early age, so by the time you become a professional or doing MMA, it becomes kind of second nature.
yeah, no, for sure. I think that that's a perfect way to put it. I think, the physical stuff like the weight cutting and all that comes way easier just after doing it for, like my whole life. And then just the grind to wrestling. It's like a very like thankless sport. MMA fighters, like, we get all the hype and all the love. If you get a win in an MMA fight, it's everywhere and everyone's congratulating you and posted on social media about it, and there's videos and clips and highlights and this and that. Whereas wrestling, unless you're like one of the top elite dudes in the world, it's like you just don't get a lot of shine. Dudes truly do it because they love it and love the day in and day out. And I was never anything special in wrestling, but just did it for a long time and loved it. And it kind of just the day in and day out grind of it, I think, kind of turns you into just an adaptable person, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is a mind developing sport. You got to be very strong willed in your mind to compete in wrestling, especially at a collegiate level.
Yeah, for sure.
I just seen the guy. He's like one of the he was on Dana White's Contender Series last night, and I guess he was a huge wrestling star. Won like the Nationals 2 years, and he
Yeah,
won his fight. I forget the guy's name.
Bo
Which
Nickel from Penn
that's the
State.
one. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
that guy's a
Yeah. He's
hammer.
total hammer, dude. Like one of the best in the world. Yeah, he wrestled at Penn State for a long time and then competed, like you said, on like the national team and world level. And uh yeah, he's the man. Super good.
Yeah, he owned his opponent, and then Dana White didn't give him the contract. He said he only has 2 fights, but they're gonna bring him back on the Contender Series to fight again. I'm saying whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's weird to have him on in the first place if there's no shot at him getting the contract.
Yeah,
Like what more could he do? It's kind of weird to me, but especially in
probably
that fashion, like I think he finished in like a minute or something.
yeah. So it's probably good marketing for Dana White's Contender Series when he comes back. I guess that's the plan.
Yeah, milk him for as much as he can, I'm sure.
And then sign him. I let him
Yeah,
fight for
yeah.
cheap.
You said
Yeah.
you grew up doing, you said taekwondo and kickboxing, yeah?
Yeah, yep. I grew up doing that, and I got to compete nationally, internationally, and yeah, it was fun. It was like wrestling is you develop your mind, and especially making weight cuts and stuff like that, it becomes a mental strength as well as physical. Plus it's fun, man. I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
competing, and I played football in high school, and I'm very small for my size, so being able to compete against people my own size was super fun. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Especially growing up kickboxing stuff in Hawaii, I mean, that's the best kickboxing in the world, in my opinion. Like everyone
Yeah,
out there from like a young age, it's awesome to see because like I'm from Ohio originally, and it's just not that nearly as popular. Like every area
yeah.
kind of has their own thing. Like in the sticks out in Ohio and stuff, wrestling's super popular, but the
Mm.
striking side's not as popular from a young age. So it's cool being kind of ingrained in that, living in Hawaii for a while, and getting
Yeah.
getting beat up by all the young kids.
Oh, so you grew up in Ohio. I had a chance to compete. I think it was a national taekwondo tournament in Ohio. And I got to watch a Cleveland Indians game. I went
Hey,
to I was blown away. I had an opportunity to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm a big rock fan, so I was that was one of like a bucket list thing for me, and I got to see the actual paper James Hetfield of Metallica wrote
hey,
on for the song Enter Sandman. I got to see that actual paper. And,
really?
yeah, it was super cool. Cool
That is
experience.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's Cleveland. Cleveland's a cool place, man. It's funny. It gets a lot of hate sometimes because there's a lot of rough areas and stuff. But I like it, man. I grew up in like a small town. I didn't grow up in Cleveland, but that was the closest city to me was Cleveland.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's lots of cool stuff out there. The sports is real big, like you said, the Indians and the Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers and stuff. And
Oh
then
yeah.
yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's definitely a must see for sure.
Yeah. So are you a Browns fan?
I am, unfortunately.
Hey, to be a Browns fan is a lifelong commitment.
It is, right? It's You're in it, do or die. It's a lot of rough seasons, but they're turning around. But we're getting there.
Yeah, you guys got a good quarterback now. I mean, he's suspended for 6 games, but
Right? You just can't
yeah,
can't quite win. But you're a Niners fan, right? I see
yeah,
that.
big time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna fly out to watch their home opener against the Seahawks on the 17th next month. Yeah, should be cool.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. You should come to the gym, man. Our gym's like 45 minutes from there.
Oh,
If you
maybe.
Yeah, if you're going to San Francisco, we're actually right there in the Bay Area. You should come through.
Oh, I'd be down for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
for
definitely hit you up
sure.
for that.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
So you're in California now, correct?
Correct.
So how did you end up? Because you were able to compete and train in Hawaii. You're military, so you're stationed here?
Yeah, so I was stationed at Hickam Air Force Base for a little over like 3 years, and this I got my fighting start in Hawaii. So my first, I think, like 8 or 9 fights were all in Hawaii with like X1, Destiny, Trinity, Man Up, Stand Up. I had a fight with them. So just kind of got to fight with all local promotions. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, it just kind of bounced around, like you already said, with the military. So I did my a little over 3 years in Hawaii, and fought out there a bunch. And then every so often they move you, and I got stationed in Fairfield, California,
Oh, okay.
which is yeah, it's like a small, littler city, but it's right between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Yeah, I had a friend that
And
lived there. The
oh,
jelly
no kidding.
the Jelly Belly factories over there,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah, it's right there, right off the
Yeah.
highway. You see the big Jelly Belly signs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
where when you were in Hawaii, how who did you train with?
I trained at United MMA with the Lee family, Christian, Angela, Coach Ken, Angela's husband Bruno, and now Victoria fights for one, and then
Oh yeah.
Adrian is coming up. The whole family, and then I don't know if you know Spencer Iga, Ricky Ing,
Oh yeah.
who else? Titus Strickland. It was a super solid room for sure.
Yeah. How did you end up training with them? Like how did you link up?
So, to be completely honest, I just looked online, and I seen a lot of local gyms, and that one was a little further from me actually, but it was just worth the commute every day just because I seeing the people they were producing and putting out, and it seemed like they were good people too. And then I went there once and just never stopped going. I went there just every day for 3 years, and I'm still close with all of them. I talked to Coach Ken just on probably like a week ago. I talked to Coach Ken and little bits here and there. I'll talk to Ricky and Bruno and Titus and the whole crew. Spencer, I talked to a lot. Super, super good people, amazing fighters, and even better people. So I was really blessed to be able to have that opportunity and have them take me in, like I was one of their own, some kid, coming from the mainland, and they took me in. I was forever thankful, and honestly, that projected my career to where it's now. Without those guys, I might not even got into fighting. Who knows? So it's pretty awesome to have had that opportunity. Sure.
Oh, that's super cool. And they're a very reputable family and gym. Well, Angela's and Christian world champions. Oh, their younger sister got some action too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. All of them. Crazy how much talent is in one family.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's impressive that your start was here. Like you didn't have a MMA background and you just came to Hawaii and kind of forged it here.
Yeah. I think I'm thankful that it started that way because I didn't have the best start in the world. I think I started probably 2-3 or 3-3. Like it was very back and forth, but I started with really tough opponents off the bat. I honestly didn't have any easy ones at all in Hawaii, win or lose. So I think that definitely was a good thing, to be honest, because I got that start early to having really tough opponents from an amateur level to, now in the professional, it's nothing new when I have a tough opponent. Whereas a lot of people start in the amateurs and, fight people they're way better than. And then it's like a culture shock almost when they fight someone that's as good as them in the pros.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I was kind of tossed right in the fire in Hawaii. So it's a good thing. I think it makes you, learn quick and be ready for battles each time. So.
I know. It's one thing about fighting, which is kind of hard. Like win or lose, it wins, like you said, is a super high. But when you lose, it's not like, okay, well, I'll get it back next week. Like if you play football or something, like if you catch a L, then you gotta wait like a while before you can kind of redeem yourself or get it back, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's for sure, man. It's funny because, when you win, it feels like there's another fight in 2 days. It feels like sometimes, like you just won and now you're back in there already. Whereas on the opposite side, when you lose, it feels like it's an eternity until you're back in there again. So it's like all you think about is like in that last fight. But yeah, that's a good way to put it, man. It's definitely you gotta live with whatever happened the last time, and like you said, it's not like other sports where there's a set schedule. This date we're doing this fight, and then 2 weeks later this fight, and three. It's kind of it could be a couple of months, or it could be 10 months down the road. Who knows? So
Yeah.
yes, I guess that's what makes it unique.
So from your wrestling background, would you say your style is more grappling based or you kind of picked up the striking?
So it's kind of funny because I grew up wrestling and that is what my like combat sports background is. But anymore, I feel like the other aspects of my MMA game have caught up to my wrestling, if not surpassed it, to be completely honest. Because I like striking and the more jujitsu side too, just as much as my wrestling. And I think another thing, just going back to Hawaii and everything, I think one thing that made me really, really focus on the other sides of my game too was being paired up with people that were as good of wrestlers as me, if not better. So if all I had is this wrestling background and I have no striking or no jiu-jitsu with it, the first time I go against another person with a good wrestling background, I'm out of luck, you know? So
Yeah.
I think I like to say anymore, I'm more of a kind of a hybrid, you know. I definitely like my grappling. Like I like the long, lengthy chokes and that kind of stuff for sure. But I love striking too. So I like just mixing it up for sure.
Yeah, Strikey's a lot more visually fun to watch too, and I feel like you knock somebody out, it kind of feels a lot better than grinding it out
Yeah,
on the ground.
yeah, oh for sure. And it's funny because it's way more visually fun to watch, and you know it's more fun to do too, to be
Yeah.
honest, you know, or at least for me. Like I love wrestling and it's what I grew up doing and everything, but you know, a knockout versus a takedown, that's a no-brainer for me. I think it's just more fun to get in the, you know,
Yeah.
have like a crazy exchange is way more fun than a grappling match
Yeah.
for me personally. And I'll gladly take wins from grappling. Don't get me wrong, 100% of the time. If I want to win at any means possible, however I can win. But just from a brutally honest standpoint, definitely striking is way more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, plus a knockout win looks a lot more cool to post on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what it's all for. Let's be honest.
So you're in California now. What gym are you training out of now?
Train for Life, it's called. It's in Fairfield, California, a little part of Fairfield called Sassoon City. And then we have an MMA team like within the gym. It's the name of the gym is Train for Life, and Nobody MMA is the name of the MMA team. Yeah, it's all under Sonny Ramos is the head coach there. Anthony Sonny Ramos. He yeah runs the gym and coaches everything from you know, kids Kajun Kembo all the way to the professional MMA fighters. He kind of just oversees it all, and yeah, he runs the gym out in Fairfield, California.
Oh, nice. How was the transition from the gym you're previously at compared to this one?
That's a good. Yeah, so it went great. I've been honestly super lucky with my gyms because both places I you know in Hawaii, like I said, I went there once and then never stopped going. And it was the exact same thing at Train for Life. I went there, I just walked into like a kickboxing class, I think it was in the afternoon. And the first week I moved here, you know, I just went in and introduced myself and took class and then ended up talking with Coach Sonny. And since then, it's been a year and a half, and I'm there every day, you know. And I'm tighter with this group than I have been, honestly, with anybody.
Oh, wow.
The fight team there is super special because a lot of fight teams, you know, they train together and they fight together, and then they go home.
So you're kind of close knit with this team. Do they have a lot of professional fighters out of your gym?
Yeah, there's the fight team's killer out there. And yeah, like you said, I'm super tight with them just as people, you know. I can honestly say they're my best friends. But yeah, the fight team's super stacked. There's so from the lighter guys, we have Terrence Saturn, who's a professional 125 pounder. He's like one of the top ranked guys in California right now, fighting September 3rd for Uriah Davis show A1 Combat. Um, we got amateur 125 pounders that are like undefeated, Houston Skibik. And then other pro fighters, we got Ricky Abdelaziz, who has family out in Hawaii and stuff. And he fights with us. Cesar Gonzalez, super seasoned pro fighter, one of the best dudes around. And yeah, bunch of amateur guys. Bobby Saronio too. He's a Hawaiian dude too that lives out here. Signed to Bellator and stuff. Super tough fighter. So yeah, it's very tough room. That makes me better every day for sure.
Yeah, that's what they say. Iron sharpens iron. Huh? So if you're training with hammers, then you'll develop into one as well.
You
Does your
know it, man. Some
yeah
days you're the nail, some days you're the hammer.
yeah I've been there before. Do you guys are you guys fortunate enough to be able to cross train with other gyms?
Yeah, yeah. So we cross train quite a bit because in this area, California, it's MMA is pretty popular. So there's a bunch of gyms around.
So you're fortunate enough to be able to cross train. I know like some gyms they're frowned upon. I know like for a few situations our we weren't allowed to do it and it becomes like a martial arts discipline kind of weird thing, but I always feel like you if you're sparring the same people over and over, you're not going to improve. So the cross train is pretty cool. You learn.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think personally, I'm all for cross training. I think, like you just said, getting the more looks, the better. And I think it's good too from like a coaching standpoint to not try and take ego out of it. I think a lot of people think like, our way's the way and that's it. Whereas I like the school of thought more where you can admit that there's other people that have more specific knowledge than you. Like, yeah, if you go to a college wrestling room, they're going to be better wrestlers and they can help you. Or you can go to a professional boxing or a straight kickboxing or Muay Thai gym, and they're going to be able to teach you things that I might not know. Or it's just, I think it's awesome to get as many specific looks from as many people as you can, and keep it all in house, bring it back, and have a main base gym to where you have a solid team and foundation. But I see no issue at all. I honestly see a lot of benefits to getting as many looks as possible from other places.
Yep. One thing I did enjoy about martial arts, it evolves quickly. So you do constantly learn new things. And for me, learning is always the funnest part of anything.
Yeah, for sure. I think, yeah, you put it perfectly. I think as much of a physical workout as it is, there's days when it's just as much a mental workout, and you're like, all right, was it this way or this way, or how are you twisting your hips on that kick, or how, you know what I mean? Just the little details that really, really pinpointing it and honing it down to exactly what it needs to be can be equally as mentally challenging and as much of a learning experience as it is a physical workout.
Yeah. So you had a bunch of amateur fights. How many professional fights did you have?
I've only had two professional fights. Fought the first one in Hawaii, and then I just fought last weekend in Stockton, California. And then amateur, probably like 10, I think, ish, 9 or 10 amateur fights. Yeah.
Always try to find out from professional fighters what steps did you take or how do you decide or become pro meaning that you get paid for to compete, correct?
Correct. So it's funny because really the lifestyle and what you do every single day, even down to fight day, isn't any different from amateur to pro. If you're an amateur fighter and you take it serious, you're going to be training in the gym every day. And if you're a professional fighter and you take it serious, you're going to be training in the gym every day. But in terms of making the leap, that was kind of more on my coaches than me, if that makes sense. Because I felt I was ready, and the same with my coaches, and it was time to pull the trigger. Where I had been in enough fights and had enough cage time and learned a lot, from wins and losses, that was ready to take it to the next step. And yeah, like you said, just start getting paid is the biggest difference between amateur and pros, and just little rule changes. The rounds are 5 minutes instead of three,
Hmm.
and you're allowed to do a little more. But other than that, it's pretty much the same game.
Oh, that's cool. And your first fight was in Hawaii, was at Bellator, correct? First
Yeah,
pro fight.
yeah, yes. First pro fight, April. It was just this past April in Bellator.
Oh, that was the one that just happened. You fought a, Ray's brother, right? Ray Cooper's brother.
Yeah, fought Makoa Cooper. Yeah.
How was that? I'm pretty sure the local fans were pretty for the Cooper kid, and I mean it's kind of rough coming. I mean, you're from Hawaii, and I mean, were you trained in Hawaii and your whole amateur career was in Hawaii?
Nice job by Makoa. Slipped through, but that is still tight.
Mamma mia! What a comeback by Blake Perry in his professional mixed martial arts debut.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that he had more fans there than me. I mean, and rightfully so. You know, it's hometown family, and they're friggin' legends out there. You know, so
Yeah.
rightfully so. It shouldn't be any other way. But yeah, man, it was a super dope experience from start to finish. Just the whole fight week was awesome. Getting to really embrace it in, and that was a big platform for my first professional fight. You know, going from an amateur fight to kind of a big deal. You know, the Bellator fight, and that was the first MMA card in I think probably 2 years in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So that on top of it just added to the excitement of fight week, and it was like electric on the island.
Yeah.
So that's something I'll remember forever. From the whole experience, from fight night itself was awesome, down to the whole week of training and all the media and just getting to be with everybody, and it was super awesome.
So this was after you left to Fairfield. So you brought your coaches from there over here.
Yeah. Me and my coach Sonny and my teammate I was talking about earlier, Terrence Stayturn, they both cornered me. So they flew out from California to Hawaii.
Oh.
Yep. We flew out together, and just hung out for the week. And yeah, they were in my corner.
That's awesome. And you got the W. I mean, you kind of spoiled the hometown crowd's hope of their guy winning, but I mean it's a fight. But Bellator here became super big, and because of Ilimale, she kind of made him come down here. But they're I think he's the or was the fight matchmaker, Rich Cho.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he had a lot of ties with BJ Penn back in the day. He did Rumble on the Rock, and they did what was it? Elite. They did a lot of things with Elite XCM. I forget his name.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he ended up being the matchmaker for Bellator, which was cool to see because I known him for years because he would come to my club events, and that's how I met him. And he would always give us Rumble on the Rock Yeah, he'd give us Rumble on the Rock tickets and stuff like that. At one point, we did his girlfriend's birthday party at our club.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah. I know that he had a hand in bringing Bellator into Hawaii, which, I mean, Hawaii needs these big shows. It's kind of disappointing to see, like, for a fan in Hawaii to watch these guys come up in the amateur ranks and develop and kind of start getting a local fan base, then they get taken to the UFC or something, and we don't ever get to watch them live unless you fly up to the mainland. So that Bellator is bringing it down here, which I think is amazing. Yeah,
I agree. That was a crazy experience too. Like everything you just said, it's weird coming from, because I had watched the past I think 2 or 3 Bellator events in Hawaii just as a fan in the crowd, you know. And I think like 2018, 2019, when McFarland was the headline, and trying to think who else came through. There was I think Lyoto Machida fought on one of the cards. It was a good card. And but yeah, it was wild. just going from a fan thinking, man, this is like such a cool atmosphere and it's just fun to be here. And I never ever would have thought 3 years down the line I'd be fighting in the same arena for Bellator. It's crazy how things happen. But yeah, super, super awesome experience. And I'm trying to get back out to Hawaii to fight. Yeah, when one of the promotions comes back, I'd love to get back out there once I can.
Nice. I know Destiny's having a fight in September at the convention center. I'm not sure how they go about doing their matchmaking, but
yeah, I know. Last I knew, Big Al Medeiros was matchmaking and stuff for them. I don't know if he does anymore, but I'm pretty sure he does. But yeah, he's the man. He's always got a lot of things going on, and no matter how busy he is, he's always got your back. I haven't even lived in Hawaii for a year and a half, and he's messaging me about my last fight this last weekend and giving me props. And I like that dude a lot. He's done a lot for me, and I might not be from Hawaii or even live there anymore, but he's like a bro to me. So
yeah,
cool
he
dude.
definitely has a lot of aloha, and he's hilarious. He's fun to talk story with. He's funny.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Yeah. So being that you're in California, you have a lot more exposure to MMA promotions and competition. Do you have a manager?
I do actually. Team Fighters United it's actually Sonny Ramos runs. He has a little organization, but he's got a crew of fighters he manages, and they've been awesome. They help us quite a bit, and everything down to sponsors and any gear and travel opportunities and all the stuff that's behind the scenes that I honestly wouldn't even know where to begin when it comes to the business side of it. I'm still very much learning that side of it. Team Fighters United is who I'm with, and they've been super dope. Just super on top of their stuff. And like I said, I'll be getting ready for a fight, and I've got 20 sponsors just through them lined up. He's been just working behind the scenes on top of all the other things they have going on. But Team Fighters United is who I'm with right now.
Oh, that's super cool. It gives you the chance to just focus on your training and competition versus having to deal with all that and trying to hustle sponsors and trying to find fights, to be honest.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's the biggest thing, because especially these bigger shows, like the A1 Combat with Uriah Faber and Bellator, and I wouldn't even know who to contact for that. And if I did message them, they delete it, and I'd be left on red for 6 years.
Oh yeah.
So it's really big having those manager teams like that to go to bat for you, that know how to get in contact with the certain people and the matchmakers and that type of thing. So that's huge when it comes to opportunities, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I guess that's how you'll make your money, man. They get you into them shows. So you were able to compete in Uriah Faber's fight show. Things didn't go your way, but you did get a lot of national exposure. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So I had a fight with Marcel McCain, was my opponent's name, from Team Alpha Male right there in Sacramento. Really tough opponent, and we had a competitive fight. It was only one round, but it was a pretty good scrap. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy one, back and forth, and I ended up catching a pretty solid knee right to the center of my face, and unfortunately broke my nose. And between rounds, they cleaned me up and were ready to go. And as we were going out for the second round, right as the ref was about to start the fight again for the second round, the doctor called a stop to it and came in and looked and would not let me continue, unfortunately. So yeah, it's definitely a bummer. Not the way I wanted it to end, obviously, but was a fun fight nonetheless. And still ended up, we got fight of the night for a 1-round fight. So that,
Oh,
you know,
that's
it was
awesome.
a fun one. But yeah, in terms of the aftermath, is like you said, the publicity or whatever, it's just funny how things happen, because during it, you know, I just got hit, you know, and didn't really think anything of it. Like, I knew my nose was broken, but I was like, it'll be fine. You know, it's my nose is already broken. I'm trying to get this win, you know. I can
Yeah.
either lose and have a broken nose, or I can keep fighting win and have the same broken nose, you know. So I was ready to go. I was begging to go on, because I that's the best I've felt in a fight ever, to be honest. Like, physically, and I had a great camp leading up to it, so no excuses. Just gotta execute when I'm in there, and yeah. But the aftermath, it's funny, you know, the fight ended, and then didn't really think anything of it. You know, was kind of bummed out, and then went to the hospital to get it reset, and then my phone is just going nuts, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, you know. So I look, and I'm just getting, like, from every angle, my Instagram's getting all these tags and stuff from these, like, big pages talking about how messed up my face is. uh I don't know, it's just funny how things work out, you know. I'm getting tagged in these posts of these, like, things I shouldn't be on, like stuff with, like, movie stars and stuff, and then you got all these, like, beautiful movie stars, and then my jacked up face. I don't know, it's just, I don't know, the internet's a weird place, man. But whatever. I guess any publicity, even if it's not necessarily for something good, I guess at least, you know, more people know my name now, and it'll help me for my next fight. So
Yeah, for
get
sure.
some more eyeballs on me, and yeah, just try and use it to my advantage. You know, it happened, so I can either whine about it, or I can use it to my advantage and try and hype up my next fight. So I gotta do what I gotta do, man.
Yeah. Well, I seen it because Sports Center played it. And I'm looking at you on Sports Center. I'm like, oh, that guy's nose got broke pretty bad. I'm like, wait, I know that guy. I follow him on Instagram. He kind of messaged me a couple times. I'm like, that's that guy. That's that guy Blake. And I was like, oh, and let the record show you were down to come out and fight after us broken. Like, you were down to come out with your nose pretty jacked, but when you were on the stool, could you tell it was bad, or could you see it on the big screen, or like?
Uh, so to be honest, I know it sounds like I'm full of crap, but all that adrenaline, and it might even been a little shock setting in, you know. You really don't feel it, to be 100% honest. Until probably about an hour, 2 hours afterwards, once all that wears down and I'm calmed down again. You're like, oh, this hurts really bad. Like, when they're resetting it and stuff. But no, in the time being, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I could tell, because my nose felt like stuffed up, like clogged up. So I figured it was probably broken, because I've broken my nose a few times before. Nothing like that, but I really didn't think it was that drastic. Like, I didn't realize it was, like, visibly broke across my face. I just thought it was like a little internal break or something, but turns out it was pretty broken.
So when did they reset it? Because you posted a video of them resetting it, and it was like, wow, like how did? And you're very polite. You're just like, and then the doctor's like, sorry. You're like, no, it's not your fault. I would have hooked the doctor. Didn't look fun at all.
Yeah, that was probably or something like that. Maybe not even that long, hour and a half.
Oh,
Because they take you right from the venue in the ambulance. Like, they don't let you. When, like, I drove to the hospital, they make you leave in the ambulance right there, and so it was pretty much directly after. It's funny, because I actually rode to the ambulance with Marcel, the dude I fought. We were in the same ambulance in the back, Like, it was just me and him in the back, kind of like, "What's up, man? How's it going?" Yeah, so it's like, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's just us in the back, like, "Hey, what are you doing later?"
Oh, that's
But yeah,
a
they
hilarious.
drove.
That's awkward.
Yeah, right. I got pictures off to send you of us just, chilling in the back of a hospital thing together, or a back of an ambulance thing rather. But
Well, at least you did enough damage to him also that he had to go to the hospital.
yeah. It was. I'd say we both got beat up pretty good, pretty good.
Jeez. Maybe it's good it didn't go longer than one round. Who knows what would happen?
Yeah. Well, shit, man. I've been the one getting all the props. Everyone telling me, how tough I am for going out and all that stuff, which is cool. But man, my opponent, he broke a rib and punctured a lung.
Oh, jeez.
Because he in that fight, yeah, he ended up staying in the hospital, I think, for like 5 or 6 days after.
Oh, wow.
He's all good now, but
Oh,
yeah, the fact that he was gonna go out for the second round too, man, he's crazy too. So shout out to Marcel McCain, but he, like I said, he's good now, and they took care of him at the hospital. But yeah, he had a bit of a scare there too.
oh, well, good thing he's okay also. I mean, sport is brutal. You guys think you guys would ever do a rematch or?
I mean, I personally would love to. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But it was a very fun, competitive fight. I'd love to do it again personally. But like I said, time will tell. We'll both heal up and see what the future holds when cross that bridge when we get there.
Nice. Well, it looks like they said it good. It looks straight enough, and like
Yeah.
it's been a week ago, and if you see how badly it was broken, I mean, you just look like you have a shiner under your eye, and I mean, it doesn't look like your nose was broke.
Yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate that. They did a really good job, to be honest, because like you said, I look worse than this sometimes just after training normally. So yeah, for the most part it's lined up, and I'll go see a specialist and stuff within the next few weeks to make sure everything's healing right and it's all lined up correctly and everything, so that for future fights this isn't like a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Want to make sure just take plenty of time to make sure it's healed in line. And because I think honestly probably the reason it broke so bad is because I have had it broke in the past, and probably not taking the time and procedure that I probably should have. I might have just been like, it's lined up good enough, and then hop back in there. And so I think probably it was compounded over a handful of fights, and it was just kind of hanging on by a thread. And that's we see what happened. But so I think first things first, moving forward, I need to get this in line. That way I'm not going out to fights and winning some fight, and then the first time I get popped once good in the face, the ref calls it every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think first and foremost, before I get any more fights, I want to get this where I need it, get it as strong as possible, and then hop back in and hit it hard.
Yep. That sounds like a good plan. At least you give yourself time to heal, and
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, you wouldn't want that happening again. That was kind of like you said, it was a good fight, and I mean, who could have been fight of the year if you were allowed to keep going.
Yeah, you're right. So it's just it's a bummer that it ended how it did, but use it as a learning experience and make sure it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Well, you seem very positive and looking forward to the future. What weight class do you fight at?
I fight at 170. I fought at 185, I think probably like 3-4 times. But especially for professional and for me to perform my best at the highest level, 170 is a good weight class for me.
That's a welterweight, huh?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Welterweight. But yeah, my first, I think 4 or 5 amateur fights were all at 170. And then I fought probably like 3 in a row at 185. And then once I went pro, I went back to 70, and it's definitely a good home for me. So I don't plan on leaving 170 and anytime soon, at least,
How's
unless
the
there's a killer opportunity,
Yeah, for sure. How's the cut? How's your weight cut when you go to 170?
Not bad, to be honest. Because I'm tall and skinny as it is, so I walk around at probably 190 when I'm at my beefiest,
Yeah.
but I walk around probably like 190 usually, and that's like heavy for me. If I'm training real hard, and which I really don't take any like extended period of time off the gym. If I don't have a fight, I'm there watching and training, and I'm training every day. Even since that fight, obviously I can't have contact, but I'm still in the gym every day, getting after it. I can still work on my conditioning and strength, and get bag work and everything. So I walk around about a $185 normally. So the cut to 170 is nothing bad. I like to stay about 185, 190. That way I can hop on short notice fights if they come.
Yeah.
Just because I never want to be one of those guys that an awesome opportunity comes and I can't do it because I let myself get too heavy,
Yeah.
So I pride myself on being a professional, so I wanna, if someone backs out of a big fight that I want to be able to hit that promoter up and be like, yo, I'll make weight next week. I want that opportunity. So I try not to walk around above about 190.
Oh, that's smart. Preparation versus opportunity. That's the key, huh?
Hey, there we go.
Yep, little bit of luck and you're prepared for it, then something big could happen. For future goals, what would be your ideal situation in the MMA realm?
So future goals, I think, short term, get healed up, just get back to training hard, and really correct, where I made mistakes, because, yeah, my nose broke and everything, but I'm the one that put myself in that scenario to get it broken. We were clinched up and I ducked my head down right into a knee, which, that's like day one Muay Thai stuff. If you're in a clinch, head up, hips in, everything. Last thing you want to do is duck your face down. You're just asking to, get kneed. And that's exactly what happened. So I have a lot of corrections to make and a lot of things to improve. So that's my short-term goals. And in terms of long-term, my dream, I'd love to fight in the UFC. That would be amazing. UFC is the dream. That once I get there, just want to stay after it. And yeah, that would be achieving some goals that, since 8-year-old Blake would think was pretty cool, So yeah, UFC would be my ultimate goal.
That would be awesome. I definitely think you have the mindset and the work ethic to get there for sure. And that's something you can't train for. You just have it and you instilled in you. Like you said, 8 years old, you're watching fights back in the day. Who were some of your favorite fighters?
Oh, great question. I gotta
I
go
got a
BJ
bunch
Penn.
too. Oh,
Yeah. BJ Penn. Grew up watching BJ. I love him. The Diaz brothers. Who else? There was Mayhem Miller.
Oh,
Chuck Liddell. All kinds of people. Diego Sanchez was always a scrapper. Who else, man? Back in the day, Robbie Lawler, Chris Lieben, all kinds of people that when I was little, I remember liking watching. Vanderlei Silva.
you like the bangers, huh?
Dude, I do. I do. Like you said, they're just the fun ones to watch.
Yeah.
I'd say those are my favorite as a kid.
Yeah, a lot of those guys fought in Hawaii. They had organization called Super Brawl, and they had this one called Icon. And I've seen Robbie Lawler. Mayhem was the champion. He had a huge following down here. He beat everybody down here. Mayhem Miller. Yeah, it's unfortunate how his career turned out, but he was a star down here.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. He was just something about him, like you said, he had that like it factor, just win or lose. He was just one of those people you wanted to see what happened. He's kind of a wacko, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah, and he always stirred the pot, and he beat a lot of locals that were like huge, like Nico, and he beat Egan, and because of that, eventually the Hawaii fans started to resonate with him, and then became his fans. And yeah, he was a star. Even Chris Lieben came down here and opened a gym at one point, and yeah, it was
okay.
Yeah, it was.
What about you?
Cool.
Who were some of your favorites?
Obviously BJ. I was a big Jose Aldo fan. Yeah.
Oh, call.
Yeah.
Good call.
I liked Jose Aldo back in the day. Of course, I like Chuck. I like Vandalay. Yep. Who else back in the day? I liked Ensign Inoue because of his mindset when he fought. Like, he could be getting lickings and he would just come out and ready to go again. And Ensign was one of somebody I got to watch that I liked.
Yes.
Yeah, back in the day,
he put up a thing.
Yeah.
About the new circuit that's going on in Japan, that they're like I think doing tryouts in Hawaii. Ensign anyway just put it up.
I've
definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, maybe you could get into that. I forwarded it to my friend Charles, who owns Hawaii Elite MMA. Hopefully, some of the local fighters can get in on that. I liked GSP a lot too back in the day, and I was a fan of Frankie Ager. Yeah, I always watched. To this day, who's the fighters you like now, like that you're a fan of?
Now, I'm a real big fan of. I love watching Charles Oliveira. He's just so fun to watch on the ground. He's so dangerous everywhere and on his feet too. But Charles Oliveira is definitely one of my favorites now. Who else am I like? I like Stylebender. He's fun to watch.
He's one of my
Stylebender. Yeah, for sure. Brandon Moreno, just because he's just all that heart, and just every time he's in there, he's one of those guys that you root for no matter what,
Yeah,
I'd say those are probably my three that I really like watching a lot now.
Yeah, I like Stylebender as well. I became a fan of Moreno. He's definitely bringing back that lower weight division. Like, is getting a lot of shine now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't really a Connor fan. It's weird because then you tune in to watch him lose.
Yeah,
and then
right.
Yeah, but it was good for the sport. It kind of brought a lot of people who weren't in tune to watching MMA now became fans, and that's always good. Who else? I like Khabib. I like his mentality, and his fighting style wasn't the funnest to watch if you don't know what's going on, but I like that. I always said the worst place on planet Earth would be under Khabib.
Yes, so true. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, being under anyone with a chin beard whose last name ends in like Medov or anything like that is the bad. Bad news.
Yeah. Shoot, well, we've been going for about an hour. I could probably talk fighting and UFC with you for another 3 hours, but I know you got to get to your training, and man, I hope to see you achieve your goal and turn on the UFC one day, and you'll be in the octagon. That would be super awesome. just when you're UFC champ, you got to come back on my show. You can't forget about us.
Hey, always, man. You gotta have me back.
For sure, for sure. Well, you signed that contract. We'll have you back and we can talk about it. I mean, your future is bright. You're young, and I assume you'll be out of the military soon.
Yeah. I got about a little less than a year left.
Okay, then your main focus can be on fighting and take this career as high as you can take it. That should be cool.
That's the plan.
Well, where can people find you on any social media platforms and stuff like that?
So pretty much all I have is Instagram. I'm not a huge social media guy, but I'm active on Instagram. It's Blake MMA 170. Just one word. Yeah, Blake MMA 170 on Instagram. And yeah, as far as social media, that's the place to go for me.
Okay. I guess you got to stick at welterweight if that's your tag, right? 170.
Yeah, right. I got no choice.
Yep. Well, for us, you can always find us on atbpod.com. Our platforms on social media is all Above the Bridge Podcast, our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook. And you can find me on Instagram, Thaddy Daddy Hi. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on my show. And man, I'm definitely looking forward to see how far you take this career. And I know you had some publicity on your last fight, but your next one, everyone should kind of tune in and to see how far you come since. And man, it should be cool to see you in the octagon one of these days.
Hey, I appreciate you taking the time. I was super stoked when you reached out, like, hey, we'll have you on. It's like, I would love that. Because I've been watching for a while, and
oh, cool.
I love your style and your interview, and you're great at what you do, man. So I appreciate you just as much, and I'm super, super happy to be here.
Right on. That means a lot. And like I said, we'll have you on again, and hopefully it'll be after you sign that contract, and then we'll have you on again after you get the belt.
Hey, there we go.
Yo, Ariel gotta wait. You gotta come see me first.
Yeah. I got you first in line. You got it.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you very much. Would shock us for the camera real fast.
I got okay.
Right on. Well, thank you again, and that's about it. We'll talk to you soon, brah. We're out. Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.